Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. See,
No, so
Hello.
Nurse Rosa, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, give us a brief prayer. Good evening, everyone. We thank you so much for joining this evening. Nurse Rosa, give us a brief prayer and then I'll introduce our speaker.
Father God, we thank you as we come before you tonight with this presentation on brain health. We thank you for allowing us to gather here. We pray that there would be many listeners and that it would be very helpful and people have questions that will need to be answered. We thank you. We pray for the speaker, Lord, that she will say and give the information that's so very needed for our church community and anybody else who's on the line. We thank you in Jesus Christ's name. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Well,
Amen.
tonight we're blessed to have Nurse Cleopatra Manuel. She's been a nurse 27 years, but currently she's a nurse educator at MedStar and also adjunct faculty at CCBC. She enjoys helping of course, helping others. Community service has been a part of her life since she was young. She's also done some mission trips, which is awesome. Thank God for that. And she has passion in spending time with her family and helping others. Let's give her a rousing round of applause to talk about Alzheimer's disease and brain health. Welcome.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I trust that you all had a wonderful day, and thanks for having me, that we were able to share some information with you about brain health. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. Is everybody able to see my screen?
yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so I said this evening we're going to be focusing on our brain and how to best take care of it. Okay, so we're talking about brain health and the aging process, the basics of it. Okay, so aging and health. Aging well depends on your genes, lifestyle choices, and environment. So even if you're healthy, changes in memory and learning as you age may include and become more challenging when you try to multitask, increased difficulty with finding the words, minor decrease in the ability to pay attention. And I don't think it's just with aging as you get older, because I see young people who have that going on. So however, at any age, you can still improve your skills, learn new things, and create new memories to such as improve your vocabulary. So how do we go about doing so? So protecting brain health is good. Overall health may help to maintain good brain health. So we things that we want to strive for is to eat healthier, exercise regularly, be active, keep active. By being active, you're keeping your brain active as well. Having good social connections, interacting with people. So sometimes people say, I'm a loner, or I like to be by myself, but that does not really help stimulate your brain cells and keep your brain healthy. And definitely getting enough sleep. And I know this could be a challenge at any age, especially if you're still out in the workforce sometimes for various reasons that you're not getting the adequate rest that you need. So it says healthy eating. So one of the ways we talk about is to get our brain stay healthy is to make sure we have good nutritious meals. So how we're going to do that is by eating or drinking less sugar, salt and solid fats. So sometimes that could be very challenging, but it has to be option where you need to know, well, I'm making that choice because especially like salt and sugar is in so many things. Food, naturally foods are, fresh fruits and vegetables, they have sodium already. And then with our packaged goods, they have sodium. But yet you see sometimes a lot of times you go out and you see people eating and the food is cooked and prepared, but you see the salt shaker still at the table and people just, keep going and pouring and it's like they can't stop shaking. So make fruits, vegetables, and whole grains a major part of your diet. So it shouldn't be an optional choice. If I have room in my stomach, then I'll eat some fruit and vegetables after consuming everything else. So maybe fill up with those healthy options first and leave the empty calories for last. Choose lean meats, fish and poultry, and choose low or non-fat dairy products. Control portion sizes. I know that could be a little bit more challenging, especially when it's something that you really like. But just think about it. I had enough today. I like it, but I want to save my second piece of the pie or my piece of chicken or barbecue or whatever. I want to take that one home for next day. And don't try to overeat because you like it. Drink adequate fluids. And I like to say not just fluids, but water, very important, especially for this type of weather we've been having for the last couple of days. Nothing could replace water. Our body is made up of water, so we need water to help keep it and function all our organs, not just the brain, but you get foggy brain when you get dehydrated, and you kind of sense that and feel that lack of water because your lips start getting dry, your mentation, you get more drowsy. So adequate water is very important. Then physical activity, regular exercise. So physical activity is one of the most important things you can do to stay healthy. So it helps to reduce the risk of diabetes, heart disease, depression, and stroke. And those are just a few of the chronic illnesses. It can help to prevent falls, may improve connections among your brain cells. So some tips to help maintain and have good physical activity is talk to your healthcare provider to see what activities are best for you. So not everybody can do everything, but you could do something. You could, even if you wheelchair bound, or you do not ambulate as frequently as you normally do, you could do chair exercises by, to get some cans, 2 cans of corn and a couple times a day, just, go and lifting those. Your legs, you could sit right there in the chair and do heel crunches, whatever. So there are different things we could do. And then is the important point there is saying regular. So not just I start today, I do it this month, and then I do it again next month. But the recommended amount of physical activity is 150 minutes a week. So that's like 30 minutes a day. And if you feel like you're not able to tolerate 30 minutes all at once, break it up, 10 minutes 3 times a day, 15 minutes 2 times a day. But the main thing is to get started and keep the habit going. If you're currently not doing it, it's probably harder to just all of a sudden say, I'm going to get my 150 minutes a week. So start off small. So if you're not doing any right now, make an aim and say, I'll start with 10 minutes a day and gradually increase that amount over a period of time. So keep your brain active. Keeping your mind active may help maintain your learning and remembering and thinking skills. So what type of activities you could do? Read books and magazines. You don't have to be one type of a book, just leisure reading, whatever you see, just pick it up and start reading it. Or maybe you have a series of novels that you you want to read, just, get one and then go back to the library, return it, get another set, and just keep it going. And also, hey, a lot of good stories also in the Bible. So you can't get bored from there. There's some others that are more challenging, in the scriptures, with all the names and the genealogy and all that, just sometimes could get a little boring. So start with something easier. We read like the Psalms or the Proverbs, and then improve or branch out to the other chapters. And play games and do puzzles. Those are good way to play with your peers as well as younger. I'll let the kids challenge you in a game, and it don't just have to be board games. It could be, the kids are playing the video games, join in with them as well. Take a class or join a club. If you feel like you will be more engaged, being out in the community. So find out what's the rec centers in your neighborhood have to offer and sign up and participate. Social connections. Say people who take part in meaningful activities say they feel happier, and it may reduce some health risks. So be social and stay connected. So much more important if you live by yourself. So make social connection. You have your community at church, staying connected with family, with your neighbors, and by saying that way could help with the other tips that we talked about exercising. So maybe form a buddy system, say, hey, let's start, walking around our neighborhood, 2-3 times a week. You could be connected that way, or just making a phone call and talking, and then staying engaged. Volunteering, working, if you feel like you're retired and now you're just bored to death at home and you can't think of what to do, there's so many places that need help, especially now during the summertime when schools are out and they're trying to find people to volunteer and to tutor children and different things. So there are different things you could do. Join social club, gathering with friends and family, try programs at the local community organizations. So those are all good tips right there. So brain health risk, potential threats to brain health include accidents. If your brain is not functioning well, it could lead to accidents. And we're not talking about just driving, but just around the home. You might have put a pot on the fire to cook or something in the oven and totally forgotten when to take a nap, you probably using some type of electrical appliance and did not operate it the way it was meant to, and you could hurt yourself that way. Alcohol could impact your brain health as well. Smoking, as well as taking other medications that's whether it's prescribed or non-prescribed over-the-counter medications, those could impact because they could have interactions. So make sure that that you're reporting to your medical provider what supplements you're taking to make sure that they're not going to interact with the medications that are prescribed for you. And then other health conditions that you may have may cause and lead to problems that affect your brain, especially something like thinking of right now, people with liver issues. So if the ammonia level gets too high and stuff, people could start getting confused and disoriented and all those things. So the accidents. So say accidents can happen at any age. As we get older, the risk of falls and other accidents that can cause brain injury increases. So exercise to improve balance and your coordination, waist safety, belts and helmets. Okay. If you ride a bike, make sure you're wearing your helmets, not just for the kids, but adults as well. Take fall prevention classes, meaning to know how to prevent hazards around the house, to have rugs, tripping hazards, knowing where you're putting certain things, especially in the nighttime, having night lights to reduce the risk of you falling, slip-proof socks and shoes for ambulating, Review your medicines, as I said before, with your provider, having your vision check, making sure if they prescribe you to be wearing glasses, that you're doing that. It's not just for seeing, but for reading as well. So you don't misinterpret prescription labels. A lot of people, time to time, people do that because they thought it said one thing, and it's meant to be a different dose, and end up accidentally overdosing. Get enough sleep, 7 to 8 hours. I know that's a challenge, and that's for me as well. I'm talking to myself right here as well. A lot of us, I know we burn in the midnight oil. So getting to bed at a reasonable time is very important. And I'm sure if you're honest with yourself, you could tell when you didn't get enough sleep how you feel the next day. Feel like you're catching up for the whole week. Consuming alcohol can affect the way your brain functions. So be aware of alcoholic beverages. It impairs your communication among brain cells. It causes drowsiness, dizziness, fuzzy memory, and slurred speech. They have long-term impact on balance, coordination, memory, emotions, and body temperature. It's dangerous when mixed with certain medications. So the warnings are usually on the medication bottle saying to avoid alcohol consumption, but not many people. So a lot of people do not take heed to it. So pay attention to that as well. Okay. It says as people age, they may become more sensitive to alcohol effects. So maybe what you normally do, a glass of wine every day for many years, you've been doing it. But as you age right now, probably won't be able to do that anymore. Okay, so the same amount of alcohol can have a greater effect on older person than on someone who is younger. So be mindful of that. Smoking. Smoking can affect your heart, your lungs, and your brain. So there are some benefits for quitting smoke. It helps to lower your risk of heart attacks, stroke, and lung disease. If you quit smoking, it helps to with better blood circulation. Okay. Not exposing others to secondhand smoke, and as people, sometimes people say, I don't smoke, but you're around people who smoke, and it could have the same effects on long-term effects as well. So in addition, consider how to limit your exposure to air pollution from fires, including fireplaces and candles, vehicles or industrial areas, because pollution can affect your breathing as well. And of course, if affect the breathing, then you could, definitely get into your system could affect your brain also. Okay. Medications. So some medicines can affect the way your brain functions. So talk to your provider about your medication. Prescription over-the-counter drug interact. Memory and brain function side effects. So find out from the doctor, will this impede? I still drive, whether it's day or nighttime. So, and they will let you know, well, maybe for that period of time that you taking certain medications that you may need to have a designated driver. Okay. And then whether or not those medications affect your sleep. And if you're taking them and you realize they're affecting you, so they may, and you have to do certain errands or duties, you may, for that day, not have to don't take that medicine if you have to get to somewhere and you will be driving, so you won't cause you to be drowsy and have an unfortunate accident. There are several health conditions that affect brain health, and some can be managed, such as heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure. Find out your risk. Some of those risk factors are hereditary, so find out and whether you had a mom or sister or dad, who had some of those problems, and you might have been fine as you're younger, but as you age, all of a sudden those things start creeping up. But make sure you checking your blood pressure daily or routinely, I should say, if not daily. And if they told you you're borderline hypertension, so definitely I encourage you to purchase a blood pressure machine. They're not very expensive. And even if you feel like you don't want to be bothered put it with that expense, many of the local pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, they have stations, even Walmart. You could go in and when you're doing a grocery, before you begin, just stop in there and check your blood pressure. We like to say know your numbers. So find out what your baseline is. So when there's a change, to make that phone call to your doctor, say, hey, I normally run, 120s, 130s, all of a sudden today, I'm 150. What do you recommend for me to do? Diabetes is another big one. I know we have people type 1, type 2 diabetes. So type 1 diabetics are usually diagnosed from younger age. Those are those diabetics are usually hereditary, and most times people are insulin dependent, and they have to do a lot of managing and sticking themselves with insulin, to give insulin and all those. And then we have type 2, which is lifestyle, pretty much. So exercising, low sodium, low sugar, low calorie management, those could be reversible. So definitely if you weight control, all those things. And then we say sleep problems. And usually if you're not sleeping right, and you're not eating right as well. Because most times you're not sleeping right while you're up, you're watching TV, what the next thing you're doing? You're snacking. And then if you have any of those chronic illnesses I mentioned there, so you're snacking and you're diabetic, so then your blood sugar is going high, and then now your blood sugar is high, and then you need to be taking higher doses of medicine, and then you're frustrated that you have to give yourself more insulin or take another new medicine. So it's just like one thing just lead to the next, and it does not go very well. So heart disease and high blood pressure can lead to stroke and blood vessel changes in your brain. So we need to reduce our risk by, managing our cholesterol levels. So that's another thing that when you go to your doctor, knowing the numbers, making sure you find out, did you check my cholesterol level this year? So keep an eye on that and making sure that you're not having high cholesterol. Okay, the high cholesterol is that leads to plaque buildup, and clog your arteries. And when the arteries are clogged, that's when people ended up having to have stents. You can end up having heart attack, and the clot dissolve, you go to your brain, end up with a stroke. So all those things we want to make sure we managing. Same thing with your blood pressure, as I mentioned before, checking it routinely, and doing, if you're on medications and a doctor tell you to take your medication. A problem that we see a lot of times is that you're going for high blood pressure, 160s, 170s, 180s, the doctor give you the medicine, you start taking it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and start feeling better, the numbers look fine, and then people just stop cold turkey. Meaning they just put the bottles away back in the cabinet and get rid of them altogether. And then and not monitoring. And then a couple of months down the road, or maybe weeks, start having this headache that don't go away. And all of a sudden go to the doctor, and now it's like stroke numbers, 190s, 200s. And then it's more challenging to manage then. So if you prescribe medicines, take your medications. I know some people try to do the herbal things, and I have no problem with that. But as I said before, just having the conversation with the provider so they know what you're taking, and making sure those things do not interact with what is prescribed. Or maybe gradually, the doctor will gradually wean you off of those prescribed if they find out that whatever natural remedy you're using is working for you. But never try to just quit on your own. Eating healthy, best. Some people eat 2 meals a day and they're doing just fine. Some do 3 meals a day, they're doing fine. Whatever, but or some people do 6 meals, 6 small meals, small portions, and they do okay. So there's not one remedy for everyone because different, everybody body works differently. But finding out what works best for you and making healthy choices and choosing food from the all the major food groups, having more vegetables and proteins and carbs, and limiting the extra calories and sugary drinks and snacks and snacking between meals. That's the issue. Try to avoid snacking. Or if you have to snack, making choosing wisely, some cashews, some almonds, some prunes, so healthy snacks, some crackers and peanut butter or something like that. And as we talked about the quit smoking already, if you do, I know it's not easy for a lot of people that I've spoken to that to quit smoking, but there's different programs. So if you make that serious decision to quit smoking, talk to your provider and they will help you. They have different patches, gums, different things, therapy. They could go to talk you through, because a lot of times people start smoking from that I've spoken to after a traumatic problem, whether it's a divorce, a death of a loved one, maybe a disappointment in school or something like that, just as a way to cope, that they picked up that habit and then it stays, it didn't go away. We talked about the alcohol already, definitely. They said limits, if you don't need it, is not a brain food. So if you could do without it, do without it. Limit exposure to air pollution as much as possible, definitely. So the diabetes, diabetes manages blood vessels throughout the body, including in the brain. So this condition may increase your risk for heart attack and stroke, memory problems, and Alzheimer's disease. So prevent or control diabetes by maintaining a nutritious diet, managing your weight through exercise, talking to a healthcare provider about the medicine options for people. Some people have to take oral hypoglycemic agents. Others have to take insulin. So it just depends on where your number is and what the goal is you need to achieve and the type of diabetes. Sleep problems. So some people have problems like sleep apnea, insomnia, narcolepsy, or restless leg syndrome. So those issues definitely with the sleep apnea may need to have CPAP machine to sleep. Insomnia, they have different therapies and techniques, having the darkened drips for your rooms, having a routine, taking the TV off of the room. So you won't have that disturbance in there. Some people have to wear the eye mask, or play soft music in the background to help them sleep. The narcolepsy, that's for, people falling asleep in the middle of you talking to them, where you don't have to be nighttime, daytime is a daytime problem as well. So just making sure that they get their medications that could help with that, as well as the restless leg syndrome. Okay, get your 7 to 8 hours night sleep, and it's recommended to try to get, they said, before midnight. So the more hours you sleep before midnight, the more restorative sleep that you have, and the cells are rejuvenated if you get to bed before midnight. And my dad, I know, sometimes I try calling him, when things settle down with me, like 8 o'clock or 8:30. And by the time I call, I'm already getting a groggy response from him. But he goes to bed early. But on the other side of that, because he goes to bed early, he's an early riser as well. So he gets up about, sometimes 3, 4 o'clock. And sometimes that's when you check your phone he already sent you a message during that time because he had his restorative sleep before midnight. So maybe I'll get there sometime. Yeah. Talk to your healthcare provider. Said use a device or medicine if needed to for sleep. Some people take what's what one I'm looking for now. It's not coming to my mind what right now. So but there are different sleep aid that's available for people who need it, definitely. Quit smoking if as I said before, if you are or if you need help, seek help. Try different relaxation techniques. So have a routine. As I said, turn off. I know some people now they start putting message on their phone so no calls come through after a certain period of night or messages. Put maybe a nice relaxing bath before lighting a candle. And listening to some music, and then of course turning off the candle off before I'm going to bed. But just some type of aid or certain book that you start reading, and just something to get you in that nice relaxive mode to help with your sleep. Dementias generally involve a buildup of harmful proteins in the brain, the death of brain cells, and loss of connections among them. So know your risk. Age may be issue. Genes in some people, or if somebody have had head injury previously, that could contribute to that, or stroke. So there's not like a I was talking to one of geriatricians a couple months ago, and they were talking, there's not no one thing that they have put their hand on to say that's what caused dementia. They have a lot of theories out there, but it's not a definite. So there are different things that or it could be a combination. So in the meantime, it just exercise, healthy eating, controlling high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and cognitive brain training. So definitely, as we said, doing, the crossroads puzzles, challenging memory games, and different things to keep active for your brain. So where do you begin? He said it can be difficult to take in all the things that can positively or negatively affect brain health. So start with one small step in the right direction. So schedule a health screening or physical exam with your provider. Review your medicines. Add one daily serving of vegetables to your diet if you're not a vegetable person. Just start somewhere, say I make it a conscious decision that I'm gonna have some type of veggie with every meal. Okay. Start a food activity or health journal. So sometimes we're not aware or mindful of what we have consumed. So maybe just jotting it down for every day, and then at the end of the weekend, I read back and you're like, wow. So I had a bag of chips for Monday for snack. I had another bag again on Tuesday. How many bags is that? Big. How many cups of coffee? If it's like you want, and then you're like, wow. So I had one at 6 o'clock. I had another one at 10, and then I'm out. At lunchtime I went to Starbucks. I got on, and then you feel like, why you were up all night? Yeah, because you were just buzzing. Yeah, you're buzzing. So, sometimes you don't realize so much things that you're doing to that impact that your routine.
Yes.
Yep. And then as I mentioned before, find community center activity schedule to find out what's happening. I'm sure at your church, you probably have different organizations or different community events that you could participate. You don't have to be every week or every month, but, get on that schedule, and you will see sometimes we think like when you volunteer or you do community is like I'm always working on doing. Sometimes the reward behind it by doing it is so much more rewarding than even sometimes the people who you did it for. Just the satisfaction that comes from helping others. Okay, so that's what I had to share for today. Stop sharing. Okay, so any questions, comments? I know it's your time.
Questions?
No, any questions?
I would just like to share that we found, I'm sorry, let me put my picture up there so I can, there you go. We found we were just doing a small group, cohort group in-house at the practice, and we found the number one thing, a lot of people are not eating as we age, not taking in the green leafy vegetables. I mean, that was can anybody on here attest to that? How many that you're not eating enough of the green leafies? When I say spinach, kale, cabbage, do I hear anybody? Anybody know? Anybody agree that they're not consuming enough in their diet?
Yes.
Half your plate. We're on half our plate is not because we wouldn't be overweight. So let's just be honest here. Okay, so we really found that the green leafy vegetables tend to decrease in the diet, younger and older. So we really got to get better. It really helps the brain health. I had patients spend tons of money on Nariva and Prevagen. They were like, it's not doing anything. I feel the same. And I said, we need to do this. Control, like the speaker said, let's get your blood pressure under control. Let's get your cholesterol under control. Let's get your diabetes, your A1C to go. Let's consume the green leafy vegetables. Let's walk, because they just go outside. Go outside. Those family connections, that interaction, that talking. You'll lose words, all this texting. We need the human communication.
Yeah, human touch. Yes, the human touch.
Go to the senior center. Go to the Alzheimer's Association and see what classes they have in your area. There's so many resources. You can just reach out. And another thing is, they stopped playing games. They realized a lot of the patients were reporting back, you know what, you're right. As I said, report back. What games did you play this week? Oh, how did you were supposed to do a jigsaw puzzle. Remember, you promised me. You said that's what you were committed to doing.
Yeah.
We do have to play those games. You got to play. If you enjoy Scrabble, if you enjoy Sudoku, or whatever you enjoy, games, we got to get that brain moving and utilized. The speaker has spoken on all these things. The easy things like putting your keys in the same place. You won't get concerned if you do those things, like have an organized life. Put your keys in the same place. We all going to forget where our keys are. We putting them everywhere. We're just going to forget. Like none of us will know. We have to look around and find them. So having keys in a certain place, that doesn't mean, oh, I have Alzheimer's disease. No, get organized. Let's get a routine life. You know what I mean? Get that out the way. And if you have any concerns, reach out, because you can talk to your doctor, and there are tests that we give, like 88. You know, there's different tests that you see if you have any concerns with dementia, you know, or anything like that. But we got to do a lot of things, as the speaker has talked about, in changing our lifestyles for the better.
So one thing I forget to mention, actually, well, I think it was last year. So one of a family friend had her mom who had knee replacement surgery, and she was hospitalized. And then out of the blue, mom started to have dementia, and she called me and she's like, "Do you have any booklets or any information about how to care for someone with dementia, Alzheimer's?" Because a lot of times it's new for family members who are having to support patients going through this. And glad to say that they're working on coming out with a booklet, working on that. So hopefully we will have it ready soon to share in the community, because it's like all of a sudden they usually give you a manual on how to take the medicine, how to do this, how to do that for your blood pressure, your heart failure, or COPD, but nobody's saying to you, as the person who have to provide care for this person, what you need to do to care for this person. And so my husband was showing me one of his clients had the husband. The thing about dementia and Alzheimer's is the brain. The person usually, most patients, they're physically fine, they're strong. So the husband, who was the care provider for the wife, he had dozed off on the recliner. And there was somebody had rang the doorbell, and it was a neighbor, and he said, "Who is Miss so and so there?" And he said, "Oh, he's calling her to the wife. No, there's no answer." He said, "Well, the reason why I rang the bell because I thought I saw somebody like her going a couple blocks down." She had wandered off the house, and the husband had fell asleep and didn't know.
Right.
So
Right.
so it becomes unsafe. So now she's gone in the streets. Thankfully, there was a neighbor who was paying attention and came to the aid. So they're healthy. I mean, physically, they could walk and go away and wander off, and that becomes a real safety issue. So pay attention. Yeah.
We'll have you back on when it comes time when you all produce your booklet on as
Care
caregivers.
for the caregiver, yes, definitely.
Also,
Yeah.
salmon. A lot of people have cut that out of the diet because it's gotten so expensive. We noticed that too. We were like, you gotta eat salmon, you gotta eat canned tuna because that has lower mercury levels and would be the best second choice if you just really can't afford it. You
So I
get what I'm
think
saying?
with the grains, you made a good point because we had that discussion, I think, just like a week or two ago. Because in the commercials, that's the thing people get a lot of the information from Google, you know, because it says if you're on blood thinners, don't watch your vitamin K level, da da da. So for people, because of that, it's not every green vegetable.
Also, even if you're on Coumadin, warfarin, whatever, to be honest with you, your Coumadin clinic, you have a PharmD that's managing the INR. They can control it. You just have to keep your vegetables consistent. The amount that you consume of green leafy vegetable has to be consistent. I tell people, you don't get rid of it. It's got to be consistent. They can adjust your warfarin, and then it will be a consistent level.
You have to be eating. You have to be consistent. Yeah, you got to be eating a whole kitchen of
excellent
kale.
point.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Let's see you guys. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Very good.
Have a blessed night, everybody. Thank you so much, Nurse Cleopatra. Awesome.
Welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.